In 1700, something happened on the west coast of America that nobody in America even knew about. No records, no warning, no survivors left to describe it. The only proof came from a mystery that showed up on the other side of the planet, in Japan. 10 hours later, a wave with no earthquake behind it, no warning, no explanation. Villagers wrote it down. A wall of water that came out of nowhere flooded their fields and vanished. For 300 years, nobody on Earth could explain where it came from. Today, scientists finally know the answer, and it's the exact same reason they're watching the west coast of the United States right now, waiting for it to happen again. Here's how they figured it out. Geologists studying the coastline of Oregon and Washington kept finding something strange buried in the ground. Layers of dead tree roots, drowned in salt water, all dating back to the same year. Entire forests, killed instantly, then buried. Something had dropped the coastline several feet, all at once, and let the ocean swallow it whole. But an event that size doesn't happen quietly. So where was the earthquake that caused it? It took decades of research before scientists connected the two mysteries, the drowned forests in America and the orphan tsunami in Japan. They weren't two separate events. They were the same event. On the night of January 26, 1700, at roughly 9 p.m., a fault line off the coast of the Pacific Northwest ruptured with a force scientists now estimate at magnitude 9.0 or higher. The shaking was so far offshore that no one on land recorded it. But the tsunami it triggered raced across the entire Pacific Ocean and slammed into Japan before anyone in America even understood what had happened. That's how powerful this fault is. It can devastate one coastline and hit another coastline on the opposite side of the planet, without anyone in between ever feeling the ground move. Scientists gave this fault a name, the Cascadia Subduction Zone. And what you're about to hear is why they've never stopped watching it. Here's what's actually happening. 70 miles off the coast, 20 miles beneath the surface. Two massive tectonic plates meet there. One of them, the Juan de Fuca plate, is being forced underneath the other. The plate all of North America sits on. Normally, this kind of movement happens slowly, gradually, without much drama. But not here. Here, the plates are locked. Friction is holding them in place, even as the deeper Earth keeps pushing forward, inch by inch, year after year. Picture bending a steel rod with your bare hands. At first, nothing happens. It just bends. Looks completely fine, but the tension never stops building, and eventually that rod has to release, violently, all at once. That's Cascadia, except instead of a steel rod, it's a fault line 700 miles long, stretching from Northern California all the way to British Columbia. And it has been bending for 326 years. When it finally snaps back into place, it won't shake one city. It will shake an entire coastline, all at the same time. With a force scientists compared directly to the 2011 earthquake that devastated Japan and triggered the Fukushima disaster. You might be thinking, okay, that's history. Why does this matter today? Because in June of this year, 3 earthquakes struck near this exact fault zone off the Oregon coast within a matter of hours. No major damage, no tsunami warning issued. But every seismologist watching that stretch of ocean noticed, because a fault this dangerous doesn't get ignored, not even for a moment. Researchers now estimate the odds of a major Cascadia rupture within the next 50 years at somewhere between 15 and 22%. Let that sink in for a second. That's not a 1 in a million chance. That's roughly the same odds as rolling a single die and landing on a specific number. Would you feel comfortable if someone told you there was a 1 in 6 chance your house wouldn't be standing in 50 years? Geologists studying this fault don't talk about if anymore. They talk about when. So what does the big one actually look like if it happens in our lifetime? First, the shaking, not the 10 or 15 seconds most people are used to. This would be 3 to 6 minutes of violent, continuous shaking across Oregon, Washington, Northern California, and into British Columbia. long enough for people to wonder if it's ever going to stop. Bridges could fail, roads could split open. And in cities like Portland, over 1,700 buildings made of old, unreinforced brick, structures built before modern earthquake codes even existed, are sitting directly in the danger zone. Then, 15 to 30 minutes later, the second wave arrives. Literally. A tsunami triggered by the same rupture could send waves 30, 60, even over 100 feet high, crashing into coastal towns. For places like Seaside and Cannon Beach, Oregon, there won't be time for an official warning to reach anyone. The shaking itself will be the only warning residents ever get. Minutes, not hours, to reach higher ground. FEMA estimates a Cascadia earthquake at full strength could kill as many as 14,000 people and displace tens of thousands more. In the hardest-hit coastal communities, emergency officials openly admit residents may need to survive on their own. No power, no clean water, no outside help, for up to 2 weeks before aid arrives. This is the scenario scientists have spent decades quietly preparing for. Now, you might be asking, why watch something like this if there's nothing you can do about it? Because that's exactly the wrong way to look at it. Unlike almost every other natural disaster on Earth, Cascadia isn't a surprise. Scientists know precisely where this fault is. They know roughly how often it ruptures. And because of that knowledge, entire communities up and down the Pacific Northwest are preparing right now. Retrofitting bridges, mapping evacuation routes, running earthquake drills in schools filled with children who weren't even born the last time this fault moved. The people who live along that coastline aren't hiding from this information. They're using it to survive what's coming. And that's the entire reason this story matters. Not to scare you for the sake of it, but to make sure you understand something most people on this planet will never think about until the day it's too late to matter. The ground beneath the Pacific Northwest has been silent for 326 years. But silence was never the same thing as safety. So the next time you hear the words, "the big one," you'll know exactly what it means, and you'll understand exactly why scientists still study that fault line every single day without exception. If stories like this, the fault lines, the volcanoes, the disasters most people never see coming until it's too late, are the kind of thing you want to understand before everyone else does, hit subscribe. Because this channel exists for exactly one reason: to show you what's coming before it arrives. The Earth isn't finished sending warnings, and neither are we.